Namaskaram. Today, I'd like to explore a Zen story. A story about the challenges we face in a day-to-day life in decision making and what exactly is overthinking. So the story goes like this. Okay, so there once lived a farmer. Okay, and he had a lot of land. Okay, so he could not manage the farm work by himself. So he brought in a worker, and he gave a job to him. Okay, today you go cut all the wood on that side of my farm. Okay, so the job was for the whole day. But this worker was so energetic, he was so driven by the work that he finished that work within 6 hours. Actually, he was paid for 10 hours. Okay, so the next day the farmer decided to give him something more challenging. So you need to cut all the wood on this side, and then you need to break it into two pieces, and then prepare the firewood and keep it here, and you have to withdraw the water from the well. And this guy completed all that work within 5.5 hours. And he said, I need double the pay because, I need more work. You don't have much more work. And I've completed within half the time which I'm supposed to work, which is 10 hours. So I need double the pay. This farmer agreed, and he decided to give him the pay. But now he had to figure out a way to control this guy. The worker was going out of control, and he needed to figure out a way. So on the third day, he decided to give him a different task. And this task was, there is a whole bunch of potatoes in the warehouse over there. Now you got to sort these potatoes into three categories: small ones which are degraded as 1, medium ones which are of a particular size similar to this size as the second category, and the large ones in the third category. Okay, so this worker was still very energetic, and he went and tried sorting the potatoes. But within 3 hours, he came back to the farmer and said, "That's it, mister. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to break my head. Okay? I mean, you made me do all the other labor work. I was able to do it with tremendous speed. But this one, for every potato I got to judge, decision after decision after decision, I'm going nuts. I'm not going to do this. That's it. I'm done. I quit." Okay, so this situation is often what we ourselves find ourselves in a day-to-day basis. When you got to take decision after decision after decision, especially if you're in a leadership position, at least in the initial stages, we find it very difficult because we try to evaluate every possible outcome of the decisions which we make. Okay, so let's take a step back and understand what actually goes into decision making. Okay, so if you look at so what we try to do, we try to collect parameters, then we try to weigh the parameters, and then take a decision. But is that exactly what's going on? If you look back at any major decision which you have made in your life, it may be, accepting a job offer, or, selecting a partner or spouse. Very often, the number of parameters which you have in front of you to make the decision are infinite. You will never have the time or computing power to go through all those parameters and make the right choice. So but you may be making the right choice anyway. So what tends to happen is that you make the decision and then use your data to validate or justify the decision which has been made. That's what happens most of the time. Okay, and why is this so? This is because decision making is, actually, this has been scientifically proven. Decision making is not driven by thought. Making is actually, the decision has been made even before you began thinking in your mind. The decision making is driven by habituation, or in modern AI terminology, the conditioning or training of your mind. Your mind has been conditioned or trained with some weights and with some biases to make a particular decision and move in a particular direction. This is what constitutes your personality or persona or ego, and your decisions will be weighted by that. So how do we make the correct decision in that case? How do we get the right quote unquote training data for our mind? Well, it's not an easy question. It's not an easy question. So the only thing we can do, okay, is, we would have a tendency to move towards one. Only thing we can do is we be open and keep the mind habituated and open enough to get new training data on a regular scale. We be open to unlearn and relearn as and when required, because we would, in this fast changing world, we would need to recalibrate our mind, retrain our weights, and retrain our own neural net. Okay, so with the right training data, and this is what matters. There is so much social media right now, there is so much reading material, all kinds of information going on. If we consume all of that without calibrating it, it's going to spoil our decision making. So what we can do is evaluate it to some extent and keep on training, keep on habituating, keep on building a thought discipline, which will eventually help us make the right decision when the time comes. Hope this was of some use to you. Thank you.